Hello friends, I made this far. My name is Lauren and I am an artist, art ritual facilitator, tarot reader, all that witchy shit person here in now Drexel Hill, PA, right in the suburbs of Philly, baby. Welcome to my brand new studio. It's been a while. I haven't done a reading or a deep dive into astrology in this new space. So, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm in a new zone. The altar is here. The space is set up. I finally have things where I want them, still doing a few things here and there, but for the most part, this is my space and I'm happy to share it with you. Today I have for you a little lunar in bulk / new moon in Aquarius reading. So before I start pulling cards, let's talk about Aquarius. Aquarius is a wonderful sign. I think it is a hard sign to kind of nail down. And it can be a tricky sign for some people to put words together for. But Aquarius is the I know sign. It is the sign of knowing. It is the sign of air. It is the sign of the star. The star is the tarot card I would connect with if you're interested in like really doing some ritual work with this sign. Let's see, is that one it? No, that's my high priestess. Yes. As a Aquarius Venus, I rock with this sign, as also my North Node is in Aquarius, so it's something that I'm learning to learn about, like in this lifetime. So the star is definitely an energy that I work with, though of course, hail Saturn. Saturn is daddy. Link in my link tree to pick up a copy of this beauty. As always, links down below. But Aquarius is an interesting energy because Aquarius is the second to last sign, one. It comes after Capricorn, and it is one of those deep winter signs. But it is also one of those signs that, as the last air sign in the astrological wheel, is like the daddy of the mind. Also, it is ruled by Saturn. I forgot that part. Hail Saturn. Saturn is daddy. So if you are Capricorn heavy in your placements and you have a lot of Saturnian energy, I think the balance to that Saturn energy from Capricorn is indeed Aquarius, because Aquarius being that air sign, there are very different ways of viewing the world and structures. So if Capricorn builds the house in which we live, Aquarius goes into the house and throws everything out the window that is not of service. It is like the minimalist that comes in and goes, I objectively can see what serves and what doesn't serve. And there's too much shit. We got to get it out, and we have to streamline and focus so our thoughts and feelings can be more direct, more in alignment. I think sometimes that's why Aquarius are kind of misunderstood, is because they see things as in a very different way. They see things as, how do I make this more streamlined? How do I make this work to the best of its abilities instead of like just having the most going into something? Aquarius is also a sign that is, as an air sign, is very much about connection with community in new and different ways. Aquarius is also ruled by Uranus. And newer astrology, that's kind of the dealio. So this like rebellious attitude. Again, we might be throwing things out the window, and for some people that's going to look like, wow, you're just out of pocket with that. But really, Aquarius is just going, babes, do you even need this? Have you even looked in this box? Do you even care what's in this box? Is the box just here holding shit you don't need because you're too afraid to let go of what's in it? Aquarius really gets down to the nitty-gritty of things. And so as that is the case, Aquarius may sometimes look at things a little too objectively, a little too unemotional. The emotional attachment to certain things might not be as strong as it is in other signs. And that's not to say every Aquarius has no emotions, because babes, there is the rest of the chart to be reading and looking at. But Aquarius goes, yeah, I can see this as being significant, but like, how is it significant outside of the emotional connection? And like being able to compartmentalize it in such a way. If we look at the other two signs that are in air, that would be Gemini and Libra. So Gemini being like the wind that we feel in the open air, just like on a hill. Libra being the gust of wind that brings with it the change of seasons, the bringer of fall. And then Aquarius being the atmosphere. We are like in the stratosphere. We are maybe even almost into space. But from that viewpoint comes a certain objectivity that is of value, whether we like to acknowledge it or not. So with this dark moon that is happening Friday the 9th, some things to think about are how can we look at our lives with some objectivity, not like exclusively, but what can we just kind of zoom out on and see big picture? Because big picture is where we're going to get our next steps. As we close out this year of the zodiacal wheel, the astrological wheel, it might be a good time, even though we're like out, this is not connected to the Gregorian calendar. It might be important for us, generally speaking, to zoom out again, even though you might have made your list, you're checking it twice of everything you want to go and do as New Year's resolutions, and recheck how far out are we able to zoom with those resolutions, with those ideas of, okay, this is what I want to accomplish. How realistic are they? How do they fit into our life plans, our goals outside of this year, right? Listen to Aquarius season telling you those magical moments and connect with the star to remind you why it is important to zoom out. Because there is healing that can be done when we reflect with objectivity instead of a place of emotional vulnerability. Now I love emotional vulnerability. Dead ass, I do. But sometimes that's not going to be the most helpful area for us to hyperfixate on. So with this read, let's start by asking, how can we take an objective look in this dark moon? How can we take an objective look at ourselves this dark moon? The Emperor. The Emperor is connected with Aries, so you may or may not know that based on some of my other videos. This is the Morgan Greer Tarot, by the way, in case you want to connect with this more in this specific deck. The Emperor sometimes gets wrapped up in people's ideas around like daddy issues and like masculinity and blah, blah, blah. But really, the Emperor is the provider. So if we're looking more objectively at our own lives, if that's what we're kind of trying to like do in our zoom out for this dark moon, look at what does and does not provide for you. Look at what is actually like serving. Like, what is it really? Because sometimes we can get so wrapped up and like, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to meet all these goals because that's my position of power, that's my responsibility in this dark moon, my view of this card is take a step back and actually discern, do these things actually do what I need them to do? And by that I mean, do they really provide? Or are they an energy that is draining me? Now, with this also being the energy of Aries, we see that with the ram here. We also see the eagle. The eagle, let's think about that connection maybe to Aquarius. Viewing from above. Take stock. Maybe start to journal this dark moon around the pros and cons of what is working and what is not working. That can be your relationships or how you provide for yourself. But providing for oneself is not just how do we provide monetary, but how do we provide joy, comfort, love? What are those things doing for us? What do we need them to do? And also with this, we're being asked to step into a role of authority for oneself. So not leaving it up to others to discern for us, but really scrutinizing for ourselves. And that is part of the magic of the star. Only we can heal. Only we know what's best for us. We must quiet the other voices, including maybe well-meaning and well-intentioned friends and family, looking from within and looking objectively rather than emotionally wrapped up in the rigmarole. I have to do this to survive. I have to do this to be loved. I have to do this to feel fulfilled. What's actually providing you the nourishment that you need? Let's keep it moving and grooving with another card. Maybe a medicine card for helping us step into that point of authority for ourselves. What is a card that can help us connect with that medicine of stepping into the Emperor? I don't read jumpers, you know that. What can help us step into this space? Ten of Wands. Are you fucking stressed out? Or are certain areas of your life really just feeling like you've been carrying a lot for a long time? You've been doing extra fucking work at work. You've been doing extra fucking work at home. You've been doing extra here, there, and maybe, anywhere, everywhere. Regardless of what that is for you, it's time to put some shit down. You can't actually look at the problem objectively if you're being blockaded by all the things you're carrying. This is a 10, so it's a completion. This dark moon might be an opportunity to look at what you are done with, whether that's actual projects or something emotionally. What is no longer worth carrying that you've been carrying for so long? You can say, yeah, you know what? I did the thing. I did it, and I'm good. I'm good now. 10s, like I said, completion. Wands, fire, the spirit. Our creative outlets, our emotional power, or where we are firing up our world, right? So when I see these two together, I see like you are the authority, but your authority doesn't need to be outside of yourself. You cannot control the outcomes anywhere else except how you are handling them. These two come as a good reminder of that. You can provide for yourself, but that doesn't always mean you can carry everything with you. Yeah. Metaphor, maybe you can't carry every bag on one trip. And maybe you shouldn't be trying to do that every time. Maybe it's more important for you to take 2 trips. Maybe it's more important for you to slow your roll in certain areas because you're taking on more than you can necessarily handle long term. Maybe you've carried a lot. Pat yourself on the back. That's great. You did it. We're proud of you. Put the sticks down and start to recognize maybe which one of these don't serve you anymore. Which sticks do not serve? What sticks are not of importance? You don't have to carry every stick. Not every stick is for you. And that's okay. That's the energy I'm feeling with this new moon in Aquarius. Observe objectively. You might have emotional ties to some of these sticks. The emotional ties will not keep you carrying forever. You will literally have to put some down, or you're just going to fall apart with all of them. So instead of trying to be the emperor of all, become the emperor of some. Those that are most nourishing. Now I'm going to pull one last card. Let us pull a card around big picture. What's the big picture card for these two? What's the message that these two cards are really, the message that will encapsulate what we're getting out of this? Our big medicine card. Isn't it always temperance? Take a sigh of relief. Temperance is the alchemic card. It is the card of Sagittarius. It is the card of patience, of being able to know when to hold them, when to fold them, but also mindfulness. Temperance to me is a big mindfulness card. It's that alchemizing card of the spiritual work that we do that is heavy and big and important, and it cannot be rushed. It cannot be just like a weekend retreat and then we're immediately ready to get into the world as we know it. You can't just do a weekend retreat and then go back to normal life. Like, I'm sorry, that's just not going to work out. And that's okay, because that's not how life is supposed to be. There is a lot of work to do in this area, and this is not about doing it quickly. It's about taking your time with it. Maybe even taking the rest of this winter time to keep evaluating and looking at what is spiritually feeding you, what is creatively feeding you, and what is also feeding you in regards to your spiritual self. In this space of objectivity, we still have to stay very grounded in what is possible and planning for growth to be incremental rather than instantaneous. We live in a world that is very much focused on fast results. And temperance reminds us that it is a marathon, not a sprint. So all of this work that might be coming up, where we're recognizing what does provide for us, where we have control over a situation versus where we don't, is an ongoing process that cannot be rushed. We will need to take the baby steps. We will need to take it slow and steady in order to win the race. But what we're doing is ultimately going to nourish us very much in our spiritual bodies, because it is important to be able to set realistic expectations for there to be long-term growth that is successful, that is possible. So I hope that reading was supportive for you. Let me know down below if you found anything supportive, but also let me know if these cards were bringing up other things for you. As I like to always share, tarot is not a one-size-fits-all. We all perceive and work with these cards a little bit different, and that's kind of the magic of the whole process. What I see might not be what you see, and what you see might not be what I see, and we all can learn from one another. But with that said, I'm so glad you are here. I'm so glad you clicked on this video. Thank you for supporting. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the things to help engage if you feel called. And if not, thanks for just being here. You're pretty cool. I hope. So If you want to connect with me more, of course, the link tree is down below. And until next time, my friends, bye bye.